After another week of a translation delay, we finally got Chapter 9 of GALAXIAS, and this was another good chapter. Last chapter we had some really cool and amazing action sequences. This chapter, while we got some bit of action, we got set up for not just the seeming climax of this arc that we're getting into, but also more world building and introductions to new characters and a powerhouse that I am concerned neraid's going to face at some point, and more allusions to potentially what neraid actually is. Before we jump into this video, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell for updates on future videos. It really helps and it shows you guys enjoy the content I make here on the channel and shows you want to see more. And if you want to see me talk even more in depth on GALAXIAS, go and check out my manga podcast, Shonen Pulse, over on the Panel Focus YouTube channel, link in the description below, where me, Yatogami, Papa Trophy, and Nox talk about a whole bunch of different manga and from multiple different magazines. GALAXIAS is much included, so go and check that out. We just hit 500 subscribers, and it would be appreciated if we made it to 1K before the end of the year. And if you want to support the channel more directly, go and become a patron on my Patreon. For just $2 a month, you get access to my patron-only Discord server, early access to videos up to a week early that aren't chapter review videos, and other details where you can recommend me stuff to review. And I'm currently setting up stuff for potential live readings or watch parties on a bi-weekly basis once I get things figured out for that. You also get your name at the end of videos starting in September, and you can potentially get a shout out at the end of the video. I'm planning to make the Patreon and the Discord server as fun and as engaging as possible to make it worth your while. And also, if you want, go and use my referral link down below for Advanced GG and use my code GreekWeeb10 to get up to 15% off at checkout for some really nice supplements, shakers, and thermoses from Advanced GG. Really great flavors for focus, energy, and just straight up hydration. You will really enjoy it. Now with that out of the way, on with the video. Let's jump right into this chapter. Chapter 9 of GALAXIAS, titled Knight Captain. And this chapter starts off with Yerkes from the very first chapter, the Dragon Knight that neraid absolutely destroyed upon his first introductory fight, appears once more as he is going on a cart going through a giant valley road to try and find somebody, getting frustrated over the way he was getting there through the car. As we then cut to the northeastern Laniaka Kingdom at the Scorpio region called Kendorafor, as we see some people wrapped up in what seems to be webs, as we get an introduction to another Dragon Knight, Kerner, who is the Spider Dragon. And really liking this design. I really like this design. She looks super cool. The tail looks really interesting, and a spider dragon is something that I am legitimately curious to see how she truly does fight. She can also weapon me up any time of the week. But after wrapping up some perps, Yerkes shows up to her. Like, oh, it's you, Yerkes. As like, don't give me that. What's going on here? As Kerner explains that they exposed some illegal trade. It seems criminals and smugglers gathered together, built a town, and were importing illegal and stolen goods from the mainland, since it's outside their jurisdiction. So they weren't able to find this place until now due to the location. It's like, I need to make a report. Where's the captain? Where's Antares? As Kerner states, oh, captain's already departed. As Yerkes just got there literally at the wrong time to make his obvious report, which definitely is referring to neraid and what happened with Geo. Yerkes says he's got to get going, but first he kind of needs to get something to drink, asking where the town is. But Kerner says, here we are, as we get an overscale shot from above showcasing the town absolutely devastated with deep cuts all throughout the mountain and shorelines. Absolute devastation. Is that the place they're standing in right now was the town, and that the person who did this was their captain, Antares, who drew his sword for only a few minutes, took care of everything instantly. And first off, the sheer devastation, it's surreal. We're getting set up for essentially someone who's like incredibly powerful. This guy's a Dragon Knight captain. So I'm curious to see how strong this guy is. If he's a captain of these Dragon Knights who are supposed to be like the toughest in the kingdom in their respective regions, I'm very excited to see what this guy's design is and what their power is, because seemingly he draws a sword, so I wonder what that ability truly is. And even Yerkes is just astonished by it. I'm like, wait, this valley, it wasn't a road in the first place? Showcasing how big of a monster the captain truly is. All while Kurnus is kind of praising the captain, saying that it is the captain for you, the cuts are sharp as always. As Yerkes looks over at seemingly a pillar that was cut so refinedly that it literally turned into a reflective surface. Like, wait, that's supposed to be a rock, right? But after this, Kerner asks Yerkes about his report and how is he going to excuse himself, because she deduces that the capture and execution of Yuri Holst's secret child, based on his injuries, he failed his mission. He's like, yeah, but, and then we get more stuff about Yuri Holst, saying that his elimination is the dragon government's biggest wish, and once they wipe out his bloodline, their knighthood's influence is going to skyrocket. And the captain entrusted this matter to Yerkes. But Yerkes tries to say, look, the situation's changed. This is too much for just me. Catching Kern's attention, I'm like, wait, do you intend to start a war over one child? What exactly was on that island? As Yerkes pauses for a second, remembers the moment right before neraid just takes him out with one punch, as we get an image of a flag completely torn apart, as he just says, the kingdom's ghost. This can mean a multitude of things. Either this kind of confirms perhaps that neraid has some sort of relationship to the king or is a form of the king, or perhaps might be some ancient warrior of the kingdom that was somehow brought back or revived or awakened in some way, shape, or form, or was some powerful warrior that many people kind of knew to an extent. I have no idea. This can mean literally anything. But the fact that Yerkes identified him as the kingdom's ghost narrows things down to a degree, and we're definitely going to see a bit more to that. All we know is that neraid had some affiliation with the Dragon Kingdom and how things have been playing out thus far before the Dragon King's quote-unquote assassination. But after catching up with Yerkes, we end up going back to Geo and neraid post the events of the previous chapter back in Ubal, as they're trying to wake up Bronze, but he's out cold, and neraid's like, I tried to hold back. And I'm like, neraid, you literally punched him with an active explosion going on in your hand. That would, the fact that he's not dead is astonishing. And again, is a dragonfolk, so that is what it is. And the townsfolk are still in shock over what just happened with Bronze getting taken out, as he comes up and is like, wait, so you're a dragonfolk? I've never heard of one being able to hide their tail. So this does want to confirm that this seems to be something only unique to neraid. It'd be interesting if neraid was like a artificial dragonfolk based off how his tail looks and how he can just retract it at will. Oh man, that'd be interesting to see. But that's something for another time. And so he just bombards neraid with a bunch of questions, which neraid just says, Geo, can you please explain to everybody what's going on? And so they explain that they're looking for Yuri Holst. They want to understand who he is, why he did what he did. He might know something about neraid, and Geo wants to know more about her father. And they clear up the matter of the fact that they're not here to overthrow the town like the townsfolk thought. All Geo says is that we just happened to run into Reno. He told us about someone named Schmidt, so we came to look for him. But the townsfolk are like, wait, Schmidt? Who's that? Haven't heard of him. As this shocks, Geo's like, wait, what's going on? Nobody knows him? So obviously this is definitely going to have to do with Schmidt's abilities, with his illusions and his transformations and stuff like that. So perhaps he's just been in the shadows, pretending to be random people over the past for whatever reason. And they only know about the current Dragon Knight that took over Chalk, so that is most likely the case, and Schmidt has just done a good job with covering his tracks. But the head of the townsfolk is just saying, well, there's no point taking him seriously. He obviously just made it up. That's the sort of man he is. He's a spineless, irresponsible coward and a disgrace of a Dragon Knight. Which obviously, neraid and Jur are like, wait, why are you saying this? The guy seems like a pretty good person. I doubt that was a lie. And why are you acting like that anyway? Isn't Reno this place's Dragon Knight? Well, former Dragon Knight based off the rules now, but that doesn't matter. Whatever the outcome, it's not fair to complain after he tried to protect you. But then we get a little bit of a bombshell. According to them, he didn't try to protect them. He just ran away and abandoned them. And right when that hits, Bronze wakes up, causing a giant explosion in order to run away. Okay, before I go into Bronze's explosive escape, I just want to say this. Based on what we know right now with the information, I want to surmise two things. One, Chalk shows up, Reno seemingly fights outside of the viewership of the townspeople, but he loses. And then when Chalk shows up, they end up doubling down and like either Reno ended up escaping in disgrace, or maybe Schmidt disguised himself as Reno and acted like a coward and ran away to kind of ruin his reputation, so the townsfolk don't have hope of him returning, and thus more likely to comply to Chalk and his demands. And Chalk beat down Reno. Same with Schmidt. They beat down Reno to such a degree that he's just staying outside of town and just like sulking for the most part. That might be the case, and I really hope that this just leads into a potential return for Reno to fight and do something. Because I doubt he's going to be there for just background purposes and not do anything for the rest of this arc. It feels standard for him to just show up and help the town overcoming his cowardice if he did run away or whatever has happened to him previously to help his town. But anyway, back to the chapter. So Bronze ends up escaping. It's like, they gotta inform Captain Chalk. What's with this guy? My abilities doesn't work on him at all. On top of that, he seems to know about Schmidt. Could he be a government agent? Did they find out about this place? And as Bronze is speculating on this, neraid just pops up casually next to him and asking, "Where you going, bud?" And he's like, "You should have told me you were awake. I got questions for you. Do you know someone named Schmidt?" And oh man, Bronze is just freaking the hell out. How the hell did he catch up to me? As neraid says, "Look, I'll catch up to you until you answer me." And Bronze ends up doing something with his tail, causing an explosion to rocket into the sky, and says, "Just try it if you can keep up." As he basically kind of flies into the sky, which even the townsfolk don't know about. As we then see the secret technique of Bronze called flight. As he says, "My high-speed form makes use of my tail and combustible sludge gas. In terms of mobility, I can hold my own against one of the mainland's jet planes. I win." As neraid is, surprise, holding on to his back, being like, "Wow, you can actually fly? That's pretty cool." And Ron's like, "Why the hell are you even here?" As neraid yells from the sky, telling Geo to handle things there and to meet up later. So, a few things. One, this is an interesting utilization of Bronze's ability. It seems like he used his tail to kind of shift himself into a form or to cover himself in something, so he can use his explosions to propel himself in the air to fly. This also confirms the existence of fighter jets in this world with these somewhat supernatural and seemingly magical dragon abilities. So this confirms some high level of technology to an extent to this point, so that's interesting. I wasn't expecting something like this, but that's pretty interesting to see, and I want to see how this plays into things. Also, I can't not get tired of neraid just casually just surprising everybody with how fast and strong he is, and Bronze's reactions to this are just hilarious, and I'm wondering how this is going to play out. Also, when Bronze was running away, he mentioned potentially neraid being a government agent, so there's something going to happen there with the government. neraid's not a government agent, or maybe he was a government agent in the past that perhaps defected and joined Yuri Holst. That plays into that whole theory of the government's ghost earlier in this chapter. This just occurred to me as I was recording. But yeah, neraid grabs onto Bronze as he's flying away, as him and Geo are separated for the time being. We then cut back to the mine when one of the workers is slammed into the wall by Chalk, and he's like, "Explain yourself. Why isn't the work finished? We're over schedule." As the worker's trying to say that they couldn't help it. The underground was getting flooded with water, so they can't really work in that place for long. But as Chalk's attitude has been, he's like, "I want to be in a good mood. Don't cause trouble for me." He's like, "That's your problem. If you don't concern yourself with survival, then safety isn't an issue, right? And the plans won't change. Finish the work even if it kills you. If you can't complete it, I'll cut out the tongues of all your team members' families. threatening the man as he walks away. The worker ends up grabbing an axe, saying, "If only you were gone," but in that instance, Chalk counters, turning not just the axe into Chalk, but the miner as well. As he says, "A monkey stands no chance against a dragon." Oh well, I'll have Bronze detonate the bedrock once he gets back. And then here's the noise from Bronze's flight explosions. He's like, "Oh, speaking of the devil." But he thinks, weird. His presence is different. It seems more as neraid and Bronze are arguing on their re-entry, they slam through the ceiling right over Chalk as he's wondering what this is, as Bronze just tells Chalk, "This guy's bad news, you gotta kill him." Ending the chapter. So, we got a really good new chapter. We got a new waifu in this series now. We got more of the Dragon Knights. We got the reveal that there is a captain that can seemingly eviscerate and cut through the earth with a sword, seemingly flawlessly, and turn literal bedrock into refined crystals or reflective surfaces. So, there's that. neraid is now face to face with the big bad of the arc. There's no mention of Schmidt from the townsfolk, so his illusions are probably the reason why. And we learned that Reno might actually have been a coward that abandoned his post. So a lot happened in this chapter, and that was pretty damn interesting. Also, the Ghost of the Kingdom thing for neraid could just spawn so many theories, but there's not enough information in the story to really make full-fledged theory videos on. I might make something. I can't give any promises right now, but oh man, things are really getting cool, and I'm loving the series every single week. Now, from what I can tell, next week there is no chapter due to the author's health, and this could potentially be why we had a month of no chapters, due to the author's health primarily, so that's probably the reason. But seemingly only chapter 10 is delayed a week, and we'll be getting a chapter in the following week, so we'll be back for that. And I really hope the author ends up getting some rest and is doing well. But that's it for the review. What do you guys think of this chapter? What do you feel about everything that's happened? How do you think things are going to progress in the future? Leave your thoughts, opinions, and theories in the comment section down below. And once more, if you haven't already, like and subscribe and hit the notification bell for updates on future videos. Really helps, and it shows you guys enjoy the content I make here on the channel and shows you want to see more. And with all that said and done, I hope you all have an awesome day.